Hollywood stars with the worst tempers of all time.
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get the f*** out!
Charming on screen, but monstrous behind the scenes. The golden smiles that turned to rage when the camera stopped rolling. Hollywood's brightest stars hiding the darkest tempers that terrified everyone around them. The entertainment industry has always shown us the glitz and glamour, but today we're pulling back the curtain on what really happened when these icons lost control.
Finis cette conférence de presse, merde! Ce sont les gens qui travaillent ici! Le voto! Idiote! Analphabète! Mongoloïde! Bien.
You've seen their performances, you've admired their talent, but what you haven't seen is the trail of frightened crew members, traumatized co-stars, and destroyed hotel rooms these Hollywood legends left in their wake. Some of these stories are so shocking, studios spent millions keeping them quiet for decades.
I like that. No, because... What is that? What is that? You know? What is that? What is it?
From throwing phones at hotel employees to threatening to kill directors on set, these aren't just bad days or minor outbursts. These are the most notorious, explosive, and dangerous tempers in Hollywood history. And if you think today's celebrities are difficult, wait until you hear what your favorite classic film stars did when they didn't get their way.
Yes! I want you off the f***ing set, you prick!
Sorry.
No, don't just be sorry. Think for one f***ing second.
Christian Bale, from Batman to Meltdown. When you think of Christian Bale, you might remember his transformative performances in American Psycho or his iconic portrayal of Batman. But in 2009, something happened on the set of Terminator Salvation that forever changed his public image. The incident began when cinematographer Shane Hurlbut accidentally walked into Bale's eyeline during an intense scene. What followed was a 4-minute tirade so volcanic, so profane, that when the audio leaked, even Hollywood veterans were stunned. Bale didn't just lose his temper, he unleashed over 40 profanities, threatened to quit the production, and demanded the firing of a respected professional for a simple mistake.
Fucking kick your fucking ass. You know, shut up for a second, all right?
Bale screamed, his voice reaching a terrifying intensity as crew members froze in shock.
You want me to go fucking trash your lights? Do you want me to fucking trash them?
This wasn't just anger, it was unhinged rage that continued even as the director tried to calm him down. While Bale later apologized publicly, claiming it was method acting gone wrong, crew members from other productions quietly came forward with similar stories. The Batman had a dark side that few had witnessed until that infamous recording circulated worldwide. But here's what makes this story even more fascinating. Despite his reputation for intensity, directors still line up to work with. Why? Because when the cameras roll, few actors deliver like Christian Bale. The question remains, is brilliance worth the outbursts? Edward Norton, the perfectionist who became impossible. Edward Norton, brilliant actor, passionate filmmaker, and according to Marvel Studios, completely impossible to work with. The problem began during Norton's time as Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk. While fans saw a thoughtful performance, behind the scenes was a different story. Norton wasn't just an actor on set. He appointed himself unofficial writer and director as well. He rewrote scripts without permission, argued with actual directors about scenes, and demanded final cut privileges that even legends rarely receive. Kevin Feige, head of Marvel Studios, initially tried diplomacy when replacing Norton for The Avengers, simply saying they wanted someone who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members. But industry insiders knew the truth. Norton's perfectionism had crossed into territory that made multi-million-dollar productions nearly impossible to complete. This wasn't an isolated incident. On American History X, Norton's battles with director Tony Kaye became so legendary that Kaye tried to have his name removed from the film. When the studio sided with Norton, Kaye responded by bringing a priest, a rabbi, and a monk to a meeting in protest. Yes, you heard that correctly. Norton's reputation became so problematic that when he was cast in Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom, the press openly questioned how the notoriously controlling actor would fare with the equally particular director. Surprisingly, they developed a strong working relationship, proving that Norton's difficult label perhaps depended on who was in charge, but the damage was done. Major studios remain wary of casting someone who might fight for his vision at the expense of schedule, budget, and everyone's sanity.
Man sport, rugby league is a 13-man sport.
So the one happening then?
Different rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But, thanks for bringing it up.
I just thought I'd find today.
Right.
Well, you said you were in the UK.
Russell Crowe, The Gladiator's Real-Life Battles. In 2005, Russell Crowe didn't just lose his temper, he lost his freedom. After a phone call to his wife failed to connect from his New York hotel room, the Oscar winner didn't call technical support. Instead, he stormed downstairs, grabbed the concierge, Nestor Estrada, and hurled a telephone at his face. Crowe was arrested, photographed in handcuffs, and forced to appear in court. But this wasn't just an isolated incident. It was the culmination of years of violent outbursts that Hollywood had largely overlooked because of his undeniable talent. During the filming of Gladiator, the very movie that made him a household name, Crowe was reportedly so difficult that director Ridley Scott needed special techniques just to finish the film. When Crowe didn't like the food on set, he wouldn't just complain, he would refuse to work. When he didn't like his lines, entire scenes would be delayed while he demanded rewrites. At the 2002 BAFTA Awards, producer Malcolm Jerry made the mistake of cutting Crowe's acceptance speech for time constraints. Crowe's response? He pinned Jerry against a wall and threatened him, screaming, "Who on earth had the expletive audacity to cut me off?" These weren't the actions of a man having a bad day. This was a pattern of behavior so consistent that insurance companies began requiring special clauses in contracts for Crowe's films. Yet despite his reputation, Crowe continued to receive leading roles in major productions. Why? Because when he channeled that intensity into his performances, the results were undeniable. The same explosive temperament that caused so many problems off-screen created electricity on screen that few actors could match.
Get the f*** out of here. I'll make you eat the clothes. Get out of here. All right.
Sean Penn, Hollywood's notorious hothead. Long before he was winning Oscars, Sean Penn was winning headlines for his violent temper. In the 1980s, Penn's rage wasn't directed at directors or crew members. It was aimed squarely at photographers. During his high-profile marriage to Madonna, Penn's hatred of paparazzi became legendary. In one infamous incident, he allegedly hung a photographer upside down from a 9th-floor hotel balcony. In another, he was arrested after physically assaulting a photographer on a film set, spending 33 days in jail for the attack. But Penn's anger wasn't reserved just for the press. On the set of the crime drama Casualties of War, Penn reportedly took method acting to disturbing extremes, allegedly tormenting co-star Michael J. Fox because their characters were adversaries in the film. He would call Fox by his character's name and whisper insults between takes, blurring the line between performance and personal harassment. The pattern continued for decades. In 2009, nearly 25 years after his early outbursts, Penn was charged with battery and vandalism after attacking another photographer, proving that age hadn't necessarily tempered his reactions. What makes Penn's case particularly interesting is how his aggressive reputation transformed over time. As he aged and won acclaim for performances in films like Mystic River and Milk, the industry began recasting his volatility as intensity and dedication to craft. What was once described as a dangerous temper became rebranded as artistic passion, though the photographers on the receiving end might disagree with this interpretation.
I hope you're ready to take your medicine, get fat. You didn't give us a script to begin with, so I don't know what the was going on the week during the week. Second of all, you're goddamn bad writing sicko.
Chevy Chase, comedy's cruelest performer. Chevy Chase's brilliance on Saturday Night Live made him comedy royalty, but behind that charming smile lurked a cruelty that alienated nearly everyone who worked with him. The stories are legendary and disturbing. Chase would often interrupt performances to tell fellow cast members they weren't funny. He reportedly made racist comments to colleague Bill Murray, triggering a physical fight backstage at SNL. His verbal abuse of co-workers became so routine that when he returned to host the show years later, cast members like Robert Downey Jr. described the atmosphere as like watching a car crash in slow motion. But SNL was just the beginning. On the set of the sitcom Community, Chase's behavior reached new lows. He would allegedly make racist comments regarding co-stars Donald Glover and Yvette Nicole Brown. He would walk off set if he didn't like his lines. At one point, he allegedly used the N-word during an argument about his character, causing production to shut down temporarily. What makes Chase's case particularly sad is that, unlike some stars who were difficult but beloved by audiences, Chase's off-camera personality eventually destroyed his on-camera appeal as well. As stories of his behavior spread throughout Hollywood, roles dried up. The brilliant comedian who could have had a career spanning decades found himself increasingly isolated, with even longtime friend Dan Aykroyd admitting, "Chevy's difficult. He's an interesting fellow. He can be a weasel, but I love him."
No more hangers!
Faye Dunaway, the wire hanger incident, and beyond. No wire hangers ever. This iconic line from Mommy Dearest took on eerie significance when stories about Faye Dunaway's own behavior began circulating in Hollywood. The Oscar-winning actress, celebrated for her performances in classics like Bonnie and Clyde and Chinatown, developed a reputation that made crew members tremble when her name appeared on call sheets. The most infamous incident occurred during the 1994 production of the Broadway play Sunset Boulevard, where Dunaway was fired before the show even opened. Reports claimed she threw tremendous tantrums during rehearsals, demeaned crew members, and created an atmosphere of fear that made the production impossible. Andrew Lloyd Webber took the extraordinary step of shutting down the entire Los Angeles production rather than continue working with her. On film sets, her demands became legendary. She reportedly insisted that crew members not look her in the eye. She would throw scripts, meals, and once allegedly a cup of urine at an assistant who didn't get her to a bathroom quickly enough, though this particular story has been disputed. During the filming of Chinatown, director Roman Polanski and Dunaway clashed so violently that when she asked what direction he wanted for a particular scene, he allegedly pulled out a strand of her hair and said, "That's the direction." On Mommy Dearest, her portrayal of abusive actress Joan Crawford became so intense that director Frank Perry could barely control the set, with Dunaway reportedly slapping actors off camera to generate real fear for their scenes together. Yet through it all, Dunaway's performances remained electric. Her intensity on screen was inseparable from her intensity off screen, leaving Hollywood with the uncomfortable question, when does artistic dedication cross the line into abusive behavior?
Schrei ich oder schrei ich nicht? Und du sagst es mir nicht, aber schrei aber nicht. Leg mich doch am Arsch weg. Der Moment ist überhaupt gekommen, wo ich dir in die Fresse haue. Was?
Klaus Kinski, murder threats and madness on set. If you think today's difficult actors are challenging, they pale in comparison to the legendary madness of Klaus Kinski. The German actor's collaboration with director Werner Herzog produced some of cinema's most astonishing performances and some of the most terrifying behind-the-scenes stories ever documented. During the filming of Aguirre, The Wrath of God in the Peruvian jungle, Kinski's rage became so uncontrollable that he fired a gun at extras who were making noise in their tent, blowing off the finger of one unfortunate man. When he threatened to walk off the production, Herzog reportedly pulled a gun and threatened to shoot Kinski and then himself if the actor abandoned the film. Was this just colorful exaggeration? Herzog himself confirmed these stories in his documentary My Best Fiend, revealing that the indigenous extras on Aguirre actually offered to murder Kinski for him, an offer Herzog claims he seriously considered before declining. On another Herzog film, Fitzcarraldo, Kinski's violent outbursts became so routine that crew members worked in a constant state of fear. He would scream for hours over minor issues like the food served at lunch or the temperature in his quarters. During one tantrum, he struck a local extra with a sword, causing a severe head wound that required immediate medical attention. What makes Kinski truly unique among difficult performers is that he never pretended to be anything other than what he was. In his autobiography, All I Need Is Love, later retitled Kinski Uncut, he openly boasted about his violent behavior, sexual conquests, and contempt for directors, including Herzog, whom he called a miserable, hateful, malevolent, avaricious, money-hungry, nasty, sadistic, treacherous, cowardly creep. Despite, or perhaps because of, this behavior, Kinski's performances remain among the most mesmerizing in film history, capturing a kind of unhinged intensity that seems to blur the line between acting and genuine psychosis.
Israel, Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor? Alec Baldwin. From phone calls to flight attendants. Alec Baldwin's talent is undeniable. His portrayal of Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock revitalized his career and won him 2 Emmy Awards. But behind the scenes, Baldwin's explosive temper has repeatedly derailed his success and created headlines for all the wrong reasons. The pattern began in 2007 when a voicemail Baldwin left for his then 11-year-old daughter leaked to the press. In it, he called her a rude, thoughtless little pig and threatened to straighten her out during a custody dispute with ex-wife Kim Basinger. While Baldwin apologized, claiming the stress of the custody battle had pushed him to a breaking point, it wouldn't be his last public outburst. In 2011, Baldwin was removed from an American Airlines flight after refusing to turn off his phone during takeoff. According to reports, he became belligerent with flight attendants, slammed the bathroom door so hard the pilots could hear it in the cockpit, and called the crew inappropriate names. The incident led to him being being banned from the airline. In 2013, Baldwin allegedly used homophobic slurs against a photographer, causing MSNBC to cancel his talk show. In 2018, he was arrested after allegedly punching a man during a dispute over a parking space in Manhattan. What makes Baldwin's case particularly interesting is how openly he has discussed his struggles with anger. In interviews, he has acknowledged his temper as a serious problem and claims to have sought help for it multiple times. Yet the incidents continue, suggesting that Baldwin's self-awareness hasn't translated into consistent behavioral change. Despite these controversies, Baldwin's career has shown remarkable resilience. Each scandal seems to temporarily derail him before he returns with another acclaimed performance, leaving both fans and critics wondering how many second chances does one actor deserve, no matter how talented.
Who's given you the worst red carpet interview?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, no question.
He is at the top of everybody's lists.
Why?
Because he doesn't want to be there. He's unhappy doing the red carpet, and he is going to make everyone around him just as unhappy in the...
Tommy Lee Jones. Cold as ice. Mean as hell. Tommy Lee Jones might play tough, no-nonsense characters on screen, but according to many who've worked with him, those traits aren't entirely fictional. Jones has developed a reputation as one of Hollywood's coldest, most intimidating presences, an actor so dismissive of Hollywood niceties that even established stars approach him with caution. During the filming of Batman Forever, Jones allegedly told co-star Jim Carrey, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery," and refused to eat lunch with. Carrey later revealed that Jones hated him because he was the star of the movie, saying, "He didn't want to work with me at that point." On the set of Men in Black, Will Smith, one of Hollywood's most universally liked stars, found Jones so difficult that their off-camera relationship became notoriously strained. Director Barry Sonnenfeld reportedly had to serve as a buffer between the two, with Jones regularly dismissing Smith's friendly overtures. Unlike some actors on this list who explode in rage, Jones's temper manifests as icy contempt. He's known for shutting down reporters who ask questions he deems stupid, walking out of interviews, and treating crew members with a dismissiveness that borders on disdain. During press tours, publicists have been known to brief journalists extensively on topics to avoid with Jones, knowing his intolerance for what he considers frivolous conversation. Yet directors continue to cast him because, despite his interpersonal challenges, Jones delivers performances of remarkable precision and intensity. His Oscar-winning role in The Fugitive and his portrayal of Agent K in Men in Black demonstrate why filmmakers are willing to tolerate his difficult personality. When the cameras roll, few actors command the screen with such authority.
Seagulls follow the trawler. It is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Shia LaBeouf. From child star to public meltdowns. Shia LaBeouf's journey from Disney Channel child star to Hollywood bad boy represents one of the most dramatic temperament transformations in recent memory. The actor who once charmed audiences as Louis Stevens on Even Stevens evolved into a figure known for public outbursts, arrests, and increasingly erratic behavior. LaBeouf's troubles began gaining public attention in 2007 when he was arrested for threatening a neighbor with a knife. In 2008, he was arrested for drunk driving after a car accident that severely injured his hand. But these incidents were just preludes to more concerning behavior. In 2014, LaBeouf appeared at the Berlin Film Festival wearing a paper bag over his head that read, "I am not famous anymore," then sat through an entire press conference without speaking. That same year, he was arrested at a Broadway performance of Cabaret after disrupting the show by smoking, yelling at actors, and allegedly slapping star Alan Cumming on the buttocks. His on-set behavior became equally concerning. During the filming of Lawless, LaBeouf reportedly drank moonshine to get into character and cut his own face with a knife to create authentic-looking wounds. On Fury, he pulled out his own tooth and refused to bathe for weeks to better understand his character's experiences in war. Things reached a breaking point in 2017 when LaBeouf was arrested in Savannah, Georgia for public drunkenness, disorderly conduct, and obstruction. Police body cam footage showed him berating officers with racist and profane language, an incident for which he later expressed deep remorse. What makes LaBeouf's case particularly complex is the context. Unlike many stars who simply have bad tempers, LaBeouf's behavior has frequently been tied to his struggles with alcoholism and PTSD from childhood trauma. In recent years, he has sought treatment and spoken candidly about his mental health challenges, raising difficult questions about where the line exists between holding someone accountable for bad behavior and understanding the role that untreated trauma can play in that behavior.
Stop it. If you attack me like that again, I'll step on your foot. Okay, don't do it. That's a physical assault you just made. step on your foot. Okay, don't do it. That's a physical assault you just made. Sorry. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. You're not big enough to do that.
Bill Murray, beloved comedian, feared colleague. Bill Murray occupies a unique position in Hollywood, beloved by fans for his eccentric personality and dry wit, yet increasingly feared by some colleagues for his unpredictable behavior and harsh treatment. The contrast is stark. While the public sees Murray as the delightfully quirky guy who crashes wedding photos and bartends at random events, those who've worked with him sometimes tell a different story. On the set of Charlie's Angels, Murray allegedly got into such a heated argument with co-star Lucy Liu that production temporarily shut down. According to reports, Murray criticized Liu's acting ability, saying she couldn't act her way out of a paper bag, prompting Liu to fight back physically. Murray later denied saying this exact phrase, but acknowledged the confrontation. His feud with Chevy Chase is legendary, resulting in a physical altercation backstage at Saturday Night Live in 1978, where Murray reportedly told Chase, "medium talent," before punches were thrown. The two have since reconciled, but the incident cemented Murray's reputation as someone who wouldn't back down, even from the show's biggest star. More recently, Murray's behavior has caused more serious professional consequences. In 2022, production on the film Being Mortal was suspended following complaints about Murray's inappropriate behavior toward a female staff. The exact nature of the incident wasn't disclosed, but Murray acknowledged it publicly, saying, "I did something I thought was funny, and it wasn't taken that way." What makes Murray's case fascinating is how his public persona, the carefree, philosophical comedian who brings joy to random encounters, contrasts so sharply with these behind-the-scenes stories. His talent and charm have largely insulated him from career-destroying fallout, but as Hollywood standards evolve, even beloved figures like Murray are facing increased scrutiny for behavior once dismissed as eccentric or difficult. Jennifer Lopez, the demands of a diva. Jennifer Lopez's journey from Bronx dancer to global superstar is undeniably impressive, but along the way, stories of her demanding behavior and explosive temper have become almost as famous as her performances. While some celebrity diva stories are exaggerated or fabricated, the sheer volume and consistency of reports about Lopez's behavior suggest patterns that go beyond normal professional standards. Former employees have described working environments where absolute perfection was demanded under threat of termination. The reports range from the amusing to the concerning. Lopez allegedly requiring all-white dressing rooms, white flowers, white furniture, white candles, demanding staff not look her in the eye, firing dancers for their astrological signs, and having assistants fired for trivial mistakes, like ordering the wrong drink. During a charity event in 2010, Lopez reportedly reduced a flight attendant to tears by berating her for offering her a drink. "I'm not drinking, and I said that 5 times already." Witnesses reported hearing her shout on the plane. Her requirements for hotel stays have reportedly included detailed 45-page riders specifying everything from room temperature, precisely 80.6 degrees, to candle placement. During one hotel stay, staff were allegedly instructed to address her only as Ms. Lopez and never to make direct eye contact. What makes Lopez's case particularly interesting is how her reputation has evolved along with her career. As she's gained more control over her public image through social media and carefully managed interviews, the difficult diva narrative has been partially replaced by one focusing on her work ethic and business acumen. This transformation raises fascinating questions about who controls celebrity narratives in the digital age and how much behavior is excused when framed as perfectionism rather than temper. Why do we tolerate the terrible tempers? After exploring these explosive personalities, one question remains. Why does Hollywood continue to hire stars with such problematic behavior? The answer reveals uncomfortable truths about the entertainment industry and ourselves as viewers. First, there's the undeniable connection between difficult personalities and compelling performances. Many of the actors on this list channel their intensity into performances that captivate audiences in ways more balanced personalities might not achieve. Klaus Kinski's madness translated into some of cinema's most mesmerizing characters. Christian Bale's perfectionism, though difficult for Cruise, produces transformative acting that wins awards and sells tickets. Second, there's the economics. As long as troubled stars generate profit, the industry often chooses to manage rather than eliminate the problem. When Russell Crowe was at his peak, his films grossed over $3 billion worldwide. Studios calculated that the cost of his behavior, even legal settlements, was worth the return on investment his name brought to a project. Third, there's our own complicity as viewers. We claim to want kind, professional celebrities, yet we're fascinated by stories of bad behavior. Gossip about on-set meltdowns generates clicks, views, and engagement. Our attention rewards the very behavior we claim to condemn. Finally, there's the changing landscape of accountability. Many of the worst behaviors described in this video occurred in eras when power dynamics in Hollywood were dramatically different. Today, with social media, reporting mechanisms, and evolving workplace standards, behavior once tolerated is increasingly called out and condemned. The fact that productions like Being Mortal can be suspended over Bill Murray's behavior, something unimaginable 20 years ago, suggests that perhaps the era of the untouchable, temperamental star is finally coming to an end.